And I'm not saying that that isn't wrong in terms of I can do this service, this service, this service, this service. But sometimes you got to be in and out.
Right.
Right? You got to know what hamburger's all about.
Right.
And you just do that and you do it well.
Change is inevitable. Like every success happens because you changed something and you it was a fear that was within you.
Motivation only lasts for a short amount of time, but discipline is what carries you forward.
I can't do this on my own. Period.
Are you looking at your business in terms of emotion, or are you looking at your business in terms of what's practical?
I still believe that America is the best country in the world. Where can kid of immigrants with no education become a physician?
This is Small Business Celebration, where we're celebrating small businesses for big breakthroughs.
Welcome to another fantastic episode here on Small Business Celebration. We're going to be talking about managing a partner's expectations for growth. We're going to be talking about speaking in front of people, and we've got the Visioneer Game. And joining us on this week's episode is Megan Rios, the owner of Rios Design. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And for Visioneers who don't know who are you and what is it that you do?
I'm Megan Rios with Rios Design Studio. We're landscape architects here in Bakersfield. We specialize in schools and commercial properties.
You're not a gardener.
No.
You're a landscape architect.
Yes.
What's the difference?
A gardener is a person who maintains planting and irrigation that's in the ground already.
Okay.
A landscape architect is someone who designs a proposed landscape. It's not already in the ground.
Okay.
So then you have a chance of understanding the space and the cost and the time and phasing in landscape architecture, where gardening is taking care of something doesn't work, irrigation head doesn't work, they take care of that.
Right.
A gardener maintains, a licensed landscape contractor installs.
Right.
So you have to have someone actually install. The landscape architect that I am designs for the landscape contractor to install, and then the gardener maintains.
And you create all the CAD drawings, all the pictures, the renderings, the design. You work with the architect and you say, this is what it's supposed to look like. And then you go, put it out to bid.
Mm-hmm. That's what we do.
Why did you choose to start your own firm?
Oh, 2008 came along.
Oh, no, that didn't happen. There was nothing significant about that.
Nothing, just the Great Recession. And so basically within a month, my husband had lost his job. He was working down in Southern California telecommuting, and I was working at a local multidisciplinary firm here in Bakersfield, and we got laid off at the same time. It's like, well, what do you do? This is what we've done. At that time, it was like for 20 plus years or whatever. I was fortunate at my job here that I had gotten laid off of because I was the only landscape architect. A client came to me and said, I need a landscape architect. They don't have one anymore. I said, yes, I'll work with you. And so we got started, and then it's just building on from that and then getting a really, I would say, a decent reputation that other people come to us. So we've been very blessed.
You've been working with how many architects here in town?
There's a lot of architects. There's even more civils, if you can believe that.
Wow.
We work with a lot of different, we don't work with all of them because, again, all of them aren't necessarily the schools driven. We work with a design build firm here that does more commercial properties. But we've done lots of different things. We work with the city. For developers, we'll do the streetscape, and then we don't really work for the city, but for developers to submit to the city for their review. Worked with the county. So, really, the nice thing is living here, we actually get to drive past most of the stuff that we've done.
Where we're doing this conversation is not your office.
It is not.
Where are we?
We're at Ortiz Melby Architects.
Okay.
They are our best client, and we love being with them. And they have been really good about focusing on schools, and again, that has helped us to be our specialty. It's great to hear that they're moving towards more commercial because apartments are very big, and I've been doing a lot of those as well. Doing hotels, that's another one.
Right.
Have done some shopping centers, but not quite as many. But that's what we focus on.
And joining us to give perspective on what Megan does is Jeannie Bertolacini of Ortiz Melby. Welcome to Small Business Celebration.
Thank you for having me.
And for Visioneers who don't know who you are, who are you? What is it that you do?
My name is Jeannie Bertolacini, Principal Architect with Ortiz Melby Architects, and we do architecture throughout the whole county, educational, healthcare, commercial, and low-income multifamily. And we use Megan for all our landscape design.
If you have a child in Bakersfield, there's a very good chance that child has gone to school in a building designed by Ortiz Melby.
That's correct.
Why is having somebody like Megan so important for the projects you do?
In a project, there's a lot that's happening, and so architecture is normally looked at as we're the head of an orchestra. And we have all these different consulting engineers that are part of that orchestra, and a landscape architect is also part of that. So architects are not specialized for every part of a project. So the landscape architect brings in knowledge that we don't have. They are looking at water sources, irrigation, what types of plants can be planted here in Kern County. There's codes that have all that, and she knows that very well. So we lean on her to either design the site. Sometimes we give her a site already developed, and then she does the landscaping within that. Other times we'll give her a project with an open site, and they'll come in with where they think flower beds and trees and grass areas should be, and then they call out all the plants, the size of the gallons that will be planted, and then make sure that the irrigation works with it, and they'll give us presentation pretty drawings that we can take back to our clients so that they understand what it is Megan's proposing. There's times when we need a water feature, and they've designed that. They come in with all their expertise because that's not what us architects typically do. So we definitely appreciate the relationship with Megan. We go back 15, 16 years probably that we've been working together, and we've always gotten really good work out of them.
And why is having a good relationship with an architect so important for your business?
Well, it's so important to be part of a team. So I work with the architect, I work with the civils, and that's mainly it. A lot of times with lighting as well. But you're working as a team, and they're trying to meet what their client wants and what the city or the whatever municipality wants. And we have to listen and move within that realm. And walkways change and buildings get moved. So we do everything outside of a building. So we frame the building, basically. But we work as a team to do so. And it really makes a big difference to have a good team leader, and that's what the architect is for us. I have been on the leader side. I prefer not to.
Right.
So I really appreciate what they do in terms of having that and keeping the whole team together and sending out information that you need to know, and then talking about timeline. Can we get this in the time? I need another day. This has just changed. How do we get it and still meet the needs of the clients, and hopefully within their budget?
Another project we have that just came to mind is our low-income multifamily City View project. It's one of our first multifamily projects here for Ortiz Melby, so it's a gated community, and this is where it's been really good to have Megan on board because they did all the landscape, and now we're going through some site changes. We're in plan review, and we're removing an entrance to the facility, but so I don't think we've given you the new approved site plan, but she's going to be making changes while we're in plan review. And so that's kind of not fun, but they just do it. I mean, you know, that's what she's talking about, is having a good team member. It's my job to keep my client happy, and all my consultants are part of that. And so as I have to make changes, they have to make changes and get the project approved and the project built the way the client asked for it.
And sometimes it's nice to give someone, say, I need the client to look at this and tell me if they like it or not, and then she gets back to me, and I don't have to be the person necessarily always talking with the client because there's a lot going on. I mean, I feel fortunate as a landscape architect. Like, as an architect, you have to worry about doorknobs and this, and I'm like, I just got to worry about plants and pipes. I'm totally happy with that. You want some paving? I can help you there. So I like that my material palette is smaller than yours, but you would think it's larger because every plant's different and you don't know them. So you just learn your palette that you get to use in creating whatever you need to create.
What is your favorite project that you did together?
I think my favorite's going to be the Kaiser Cancer Survivor Garden.
Why is that?
Mainly because it's going to add so much value to the site, but also because it's mostly your design. I've never done a cancer survivor garden, so I think it's going to be beautiful. It's a big existing kind of non-discrete area now, and what it's going to become is going to be amazing for that facility.
Yeah, I think it's because it's so personal. Whereas so many times, because we do mostly commercial in schools, it's just getting in and out. You're just creating a hallway into the building. Where this one is, it's really personal. It's a place that you can stay and wait. It's just before you go into the entry. And so it has just a good vibe to it.
Jeannie, thank you for joining us and giving us some insight on the importance of a landscape artist to an architect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'd like to add one more thing. I enjoy working with another female owner and being able to have one woman support another woman in her business. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. And if you're looking for a brand new house to go with that brand new landscape, might I suggest you talk to Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier agent with Watson Realty, born, raised, and never left Bakersfield. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Mike Saba is also the sponsor of our first Visioneer question, and Visioneer Neil asked, the cash flow going out of the business is proving to be a lot more than what my partner and I expected here in year 4 of our business. We're still profitable, but how should I manage my partner's expectations on future growth?
We don't always look to scale. We're again, living in our house, this is as far as we live in our own little shell. So as we get busier and busier, we kind of, okay,
Right.
I hope I get 5 hours of sleep. All right.
Sure.
And also, as you know, just hearing the news, there's always, the sky is falling, Chicken Little all the time.
Right.
So you determine who do you want to work for, and are you hungry enough for that job? When you're writing proposals, how you can learn to, this is what we're worth now, this is what we're worth now. And you should bring it up a little bit at a time to let your clients know what you're worth. And whether, finding that threshold that you're happy with and that they're happy with, and you're able to meet their deadlines. Because there's more deadlines, I think so, than, really costs. And that's probably one of the reasons why we do prefer working commercial and with schools as opposed to residential. Because unfortunately, residential people, they love their home, right? But they think design is free. You just it just takes me 10 seconds to get that down. No, it doesn't. You have to give them a reason to value you and your work and what they want to attain.
How did you and your husband decide to go into business, and who does what?
Well, we decided because we needed to make money.
Right.
At first, when we started, we were doing more, like I said, the residential. We would do a he said and a she. It's sort of the HGTV kind of thing, but that ended up. We both have our strengths. I would have to say my husband's a stronger landscape architect. He's done it for a longer amount of time. I took about a 10-year window to stay home and be a mother, which I'm grateful I did.
Absolutely.
And it was really good to do that. And then he is much more well-versed in irrigation, so I've learned from him that. My specialty tends to be more planting. So a lot of times, if he has questions, I can answer that more on the planting, where if I have questions about irrigation, he helps me out there. He tends to be a Renaissance man. He can do all things. He is at a slower pace than I am, which is good. And he does a lot of the schools. So I do some schools, but he has done a majority.
But when you say planting, that you do the planting, you're the ones who figures out the plants.
Yeah, I pick the palette and then decide what kind of shrubs, trees, ground covers, and where they go. I locate them.
And he's the one that figures out how to get water and nutrients to the plants.
He can do both. I can do both, but he tends to do much better when it comes to irrigation. Irrigation, although not rocket science, is still a science.
Sure.
And both plant material and irrigation take a lot of math. It's not, but I know some people go, I don't want to do it because of math. You do it every day, so you might as well.
Sure.
So you have calculations you have to go ahead and meet, and how you go ahead and design it. Everybody does it different. My husband designs irrigation different than I design irrigation. He plants different than I plant or design planting. So everybody has their way.
And that brings us to the Visioneer game. Now, Visioneers, if you're not familiar with the way the game works, I have a random word generator here on my phone, and I have no idea what words the word generator is going to create. But more importantly, neither does our guest. And our guest has to take each one of 3 words and somehow associate each word with her business. Are you ready?
I guess so.
Okay, our first word is impact.
Impact. Okay. At Rios Design Studio, we focus on water conservation, and that's how it impacts here in Kern County, is changing what has been typical in terms of lots of lawn, and nothing against lawn, but less lawn and more shrubs in order to save water.
Excellent. Well done, you. Got the first one right. Congratulations.
Yay!
Okay, our second word is, you're going to love this one. Sleep.
Sleep. Wow, okay, give me a second. Sleep. I would love to sleep more, but I love my job and I love my clients, so I work hard for them.
Very good. 2 for 2 so far. Well done, you. And our third word is century.
Century. One of the plants that I like is the agave. I think it's century agave, and it's really big, but I like the smaller version, and it's called a Rodney.
Really?
So it's agave Murphyii Rodney, and it gets 2 feet by 2 feet, and it has a lovely variegated stripe in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
It is.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
3
you.
for 3.
Have
Well
fun.
done, you. And that's the thing about finding the right plants. Because it's one thing to go through and the architect comes with you with a building and a design, and every architect's design is different. How do you go through and figure out what plants match the architecture?
It's not always about the architecture.
Really?
Sometimes it can be about the business. I like to brand by color. I'm working on a U-Haul here in Bakersfield. So orange and yellow is one of their colors.
Right.
So I'm going to add that to my landscape in order to, because when you're going down the street, we'd say 45 miles per hour, but we really know it's 65 miles an hour. All you really know is color. You know, I'm getting close to that.
Sure.
And I think most people are really, unless you're colorblind, and not if they are, you still have a sense of color.
Right.
And so I find that it's more about branding that. Like when we're doing schools, I try to find out what is the color of the school mascot or whatever, and add those colors.
I went to Bakersfield College. The colors there are red and white. What colors of plants would you have for them?
Oh, it's red and white, so easy.
Okay.
White is a great color, and and we should use more white flowers. It can reflect moonlight, especially in the evening. Roses, there's always red and white roses. There's always white ground covers. It could be cotoneaster, other ones with red flowers. Lantana is another one. It could be something that's tall like Photinia that has a red leaf. You could have ligustrum with a white flower in the end, you know, in the springtime. There's just so many that you could go with that, but you could really highlight a property by using particular colors.
What colors are the hardest?
Blues.
Like Cal State Bakersfield, that's blue and gold.
Yeah, but I tend to use purple because of that. So I'll go more lavenders and the yellow. So it's sort of bluish like.
So like my alma mater is Cal State Fullerton, and they're purple and orange.
Orange is a great color. Love orange, and I love purple. Again, there are a lot of plant materials with that, and not only the flowers, but also the foliage.
And your alma mater, piece of cake.
Well, that would be Cal Poly Pomona, and that was golden green.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, really easy. It's green already, and then you add gold. But white's always another one that you can add with that. And so again, it's a great color. That's how I deal with it.
Since you work from home, how do you meet clients?
Sometimes we've had some clients come to the office, but most of the time I can meet them elsewhere. There's Zoom. Thank you, Zoom.
Sure.
Most of the time people will email me and say, I have a proposal, I need it. They send me a PDF of their property. I write them a proposal. We go back and forth. When's the timing? Then they go ahead and send me the CAD drawings from whatever team member that I'm working with. So a lot of times I don't meet with my clients. More than not, I'm actually meeting with the municipalities like the city or the county, not so much DSA, thank God, in order to have a conversation with them. Am I going in the right direction, or is there going to be a change, and why? So I don't really have that problem.
Did your love for landscape architecture come from the love of plants or the love of design?
It is the love of design.
Okay.
When I was in second grade and older, you know how you used to put paper on your desk, right?
Right.
I would draw all over it.
Right.
And I could draw a tree that looked like a tree. Not a stick figure, a tree.
Wow.
And I got into architecture, went to school, and didn't make the program. I didn't know what to do, so I went to computer. And it kind of spit out two things. One was beautician and one was landscape architect. Well, my dad wasn't going to pay for beautician, so I decided to do landscape architecture. It's really about the design for me. It's just that I have the palette of the changing plant material that I get to work with.
Knowing what you know now, and you and your husband have been in business for quite some time.
15 years, yeah.
Right. What, with the knowledge that you have now, what would you tell yourself in year 3, 4, 5 of your business?
I would have said what I know now. I'm still learning the business part. I know how to do landscape. It's learning the business. And that business might be understanding financials better. It may be also learning to network better, to get yourself out into the community. One of the things is when you first get started, nobody knows who you are.
Right.
And you need to have networking opportunities where you go out and you can meet other people and start relationships so they can begin to trust you and refer you.
And that brings us to our next Visioneer question, which is sponsored by Mike Saba, a Zillow Premier Agent with Watson Realty, selling Bakersfield homes since 1992. Give Mike Saba a call at 661-203-8406 or reach him at mikesaba1@icloud.com today. Visioneer Jamie asks, I hate speaking in front of people, but I have to do it as the owner of my business. How do you do it and make it look so easy?
It's always hard to speak in front of people when you don't know what you're talking about. But when you're talking about your business, just show what you know about your business, and you should be comfortable with it. I like to talk to people about my business and my other organizations because I know about them.
Is this something that's innate to you, or is this a skill that's learned?
A little bit of both. Now, when we first got started, my husband joined a BMI club.
Okay.
He did it for a year. He hates that. That is not his realm.
Right.
I am the networker. He
Sure.
just stays away. I'm out on the weekends and he's not. So you find, again, as a partner, what does he do best? What do I do best? Work together in the same goal.
Right.
I think some of that's innate. Some of it is I just like people and want to connect with them. But if you know what you know, let people know it.
What organizations are you involved with?
I'm involved in a couple. One would be CLCA, which is California Landscape Contractors Association.
Okay.
We have a local chapter. There are, I think it's 11 chapters in California. I am involved in the local chapter. I am the president-elect for not next year, but the year after.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And in the state organization, I am now the director of legislation again, but have been a past president.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it gives you an opportunity. The reason I chose to get involved with them is I'm working with them. It's important to get landscape contractors to trust us because there's been a negative about landscape architects and landscape contractors. We're a team and we really need to talk together all the time.
Right.
Even more so sometimes than the architects, because it's going out to the field and saying, I need you to move that plant, or this needs to, or they come to us and say there's an issue, and figuring it out after the plans have been approved and everything. So you're having to do it while it's being installed.
Right.
The other one that I'm involved is NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners.
Okay.
And what I like about that, we have a local chapter here in Bakersfield. I'm involved in the local chapter. I'm involved in the state chapter. But there's a national and international as well. How that provides is we have a lot of wonderful groups here who are just regional, and that's great. But sometimes you need to go outside of your realm. You might have a lot of competition here, and you just want to know something outside.
Right.
That's where knowing somebody in the state is. Sometimes you're like, And I'm never going to really be there where I'm going to do landscape in Dubai. I'd love that. That'd be great. Tell me.
Sure.
But it doesn't really, that's not my realm. I'd have to learn a lot of new things in there and understand everything else to do that. There's a lot of people, thank God for the internet, to be international collaborators. And that's another way to do that. So I have found, for me, NABO has done a couple things, as well as CLCA, is they've given me an opportunity to improve my leadership, and they give me an opportunity to advocate. I like to know what's going on specifically here in California and how that relates to the business person. My focus is, I think every business person should know their representative. You should be able to find out who your representative just by going online, and that's at ca.gov.
And that's your supervisor, city council, assembly person, state senator, U.S. Senate.
You should know all of them.
Right.
That you should know what district you're in. You should know what's going on here or there. You should know them and they should know your face.
Right.
So when and if, just like knowing your banker, if there's a problem, now they know you personally and they can help you. You're not just another number.
Even if you politically disagree with them.
Of course.
Because they're supposed to represent you.
They represent you. And sometimes they need you as an expert in your field because they have questions. So they should know you so they can come to you. It's kind of like marketing questions, right? I'll take them on because I want to be that 1 in 10,000 persons and they get my opinion, not somebody else's. And that's the way you can work with that. So that's, to me, leadership and advocacy are things you should seek for.
For the business owner that's struggling right now, what words of advice or encouragement do you have for them?
Sometimes it's good to do what you do best and pare down. Sometimes we go and we try too much diversity. And I'm not saying that that isn't wrong in terms of I can do this service, this service, this service, this service. But sometimes you got to be in and out. Right? You got to know what hamburger is all about.
Right.
And you just do that and you do it well. Can you do other things? Yes, and we have, and I've talked to you about that we've done some residential and some estates, but we do schools and commercial best. That is our realm in which we live, and that's where we choose to do that. There's lots of other work other places, but that's for other people.
Megan, this has been a treat. Thank you for joining us here on Small Business Celebration.
Thank you, appreciate it.
For Visioneers who want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
They can reach Megan Rios at Megan, M-E-G-A-N, at Rios Design, RIOSDESIGN.com, or 661-835-9259.
And if you enjoyed Small Business Celebration, go ahead and like, subscribe, notify, and leave a comment. We're going to leave all the comments and direct them towards Megan, and she's going to answer every one. And I'll be right back with my final thought. Do you need a drawing or a blueprint that's going to make your business successful? Well, sure enough, we have one at smallbusinesscelebration.com/blog. Yes, there you can get more information, more details of our past guests here on Small Business Celebration and learn how you can grow a strong and profitable business. So simply go to smallbusinesscelebration.com/blog today. We're there already? Growing up, I was involved with scouting, and one can join scouting when they're 10 and a half years old, and you age out when you turn 18. And I grew up in a scouting troop that we were in the base of the Eastern Sierra Nevada mountain range, and our scouting troop would go hiking every month, and the Sierra Nevada was our playground. And because the physical abilities of scouts differ greatly between 10 and a half and 16, our scoutmaster devised a plan where every month our troop would go on a hike, and it would start off with a standard 2-mile hike. It was with a day pack and a jug of water, and then the next month it'd be a 5-mile hike, and the next month it'd be a 10-mile hike, and the next month after that it'd be another 2 or 3-mile hike, but this time it had the full backpack. And this was the progress, because why? Well, the goal was to get to the 50-miler. Yes, every year our troop would go on a summer backpacking trip that would take 6 or 7 days, and we would traverse 50 miles through the playground of the Eastern Sierra, and it was something we always looked forward to. But you had to get the younger scouts there, and you also had to get the younger scouts to learn things along the way, like if you're going to have pancakes, it may be a good idea to bring a spatula in order to flip them. Or if you're going to bring a stick of butter, don't put it in the same plastic bag as your scouting handbook so that when the butter melts, you don't have a plastic bag full of paper goo. Or you begin to realize that it's a good idea to bring a plastic 33-gallon trash bag that can be impromptu transferred or turned into a poncho. Why? Well, inevitably, there's going to be another scout who's going to forget to bring their poncho and realize this only when it begins to rain. But one of the other lessons learned on through the scouting were the things that the scouts would say, especially the new ones. They would say, "Are we there yet? I'm tired. Let's camp here." A few weeks ago, I was at a round table with a group of business owners. And as I was listening to the other business owners around the table, I began to hear some things that I heard when I was in scouting. In their own way, they were saying, "I'm tired. Let's camp here. Are we there yet?" Meanwhile, business owners that had been in business for a while were doing what the older scouts would often say at the conclusion of the 2, 3, 5, 10-mile hike. "We're there already? We've done that? Let's do it again." And that was one of the things that I thought was fascinating. You look around the table and you see the differences and you see how as you go through in business and you go through in life, when you're doing something for the first time, sometimes it seems to take a lot longer to get there than you want it to. It seems a lot harder. You're going through and wanting to get more sleep. But take confidence in this. You do it once, you learn from it, you grow from it, you develop from it, and you become like the older scouts. You go through the 2-mile, the 3-mile, the 5-mile, the 10-mile hike. You'll find yourself as a business owner at one point going, "Really? We're there already?" I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Megan Rios, the president of Rios Design, and I hope you learned something that you can use today to grow a strong and profitable business. And we'll see you here again next week when we celebrate another small business making a big breakthrough. How many landscape artists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Well, they don't.
But I always thought they had a light bulb consultant for that.
They do. It's called an electrical engineer.
There you go. Okay, and let's see. Why are landscape architects so special and important?
Yeah, you got me, because I'm not in the dad mode. Go, tell me so I can laugh.
Because they should never be taken for granted.
For granted. Wow. Okay. Wow. You work on those hard, don't you? Okay.
I spend hours and minutes and seconds.
And seconds.
And seconds. Shall we start?
All right, little DG there. Okay, I got it.
So DG, is that diatomaceous
No,
earth?
no, that's decomposed granite.
Okay, there you go. See, that's why you're the smart one around here.
No, I really am not. But okay.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to another fantastic.